meeting times for the summer. I need a motion if you're interested in doing that.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Maybe put it on new business, 30 days before you change it, so then we're at the July meeting. This could be considered old business, since this is something that we've done many times.
We can vote over it.
That's old business, you could. That's up to you.
Do I have a motion? Okay. Guess we don't want to do that. Okay, approval of the agenda as it states.
I make a motion to approve it as written.
I got a motion from Susan, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Ron, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the minutes from the May 20th meeting. Reverend?
Make a motion that we accept them as they were presented.
I have a motion from Susan to approve them. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ron seconds. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. We open the mic up for the property owners for their 3 minutes of discussion with us. Please walk up to the mic over here with us, your name, your address, and we have any property owners that would like to have a discussion with us.
Thank you. We just had gone to the city office.
We need your name and your address.
Sir?
Name and address,
Name and
please.
address, Winnebago, 19 Winnebago Circle. And we just went to the city office to buy pool passes for my wife and I. And they were going to charge her as being a guest because her name isn't on the deed of the house. When we bought the house, her name wasn't on the loan. So her name not on the deed. But yet, the city office was going to charge us extra $35 for a full pass. I don't understand why we got to pay extra for her full pass. And she's considered to be another guest.
Y'all want me to answer that? That's not working in the city office. You're allowed to have 2 names as property owners listed for every deed. So if your deed does not have her name listed, she's just considered a guest, and you're the property owner. It can be as simple as you go into the courthouse and asking them to add her name to your deed and bringing us a copy, and that would be your 2 property owners for your property. We have some people that bought properties that try to put 10 names on there, so all 10 people can be property owners, and that's what made that policy years ago. Every property, any property that's in a trust, a family estate home, anything like that, that they name 2 people to be the 2 names of the property owners, and they get the property from their benefit. So if her name wasn't on the deed, that's why they didn't offer that.
So we need to get her name put on the deed.
And then you would be the 2 property owner names for that parcel.
We called down in the courthouse and they said we have to have an attorney on this.
I can talk to you about it afterwards.
She said we have to have an attorney. We talked to her.
I can talk to you about it afterwards. All right, thank you.
You live in Sharp County or Fulton County?
Sorry.
Sharp, okay.
What was your first name?
Leonard Latham.
And we were planning to come to meeting anyway. We just didn't know.
Anybody else?
Is there anybody else that'd like to address us? Move on to old business. Special Planning Committee update. Susan?
The special planning group met again, and we had a full table of people. We started drafting our mission statement that is being typed and will be presented to the group at our next meeting. We're working on electing a chairperson for that committee, and it's a long-term project, y'all. It's not going to be something that we will make any decision on anything, and the group has no authority. It's a study group to bring ideas to the board of commissioners and to the general manager for consideration. So thank you. We met and we are still full of energy, and it was a wonderful meeting. Our next one is July 1st. Thank you.
Won't be in here. July 1st won't be in here.
Yes, sir.
Is this, are you still open for anyone?
Anybody that can sit and listen, but there's no talking. No input.
Is the committee going to form a total basis?
Yes, sir, it is.
So nobody else can go on.
We have several invitations that are outstanding.
Any other questions? Okay. Okay, next is we're going to approve our bylaws that we have been working on, chapter 5, the amenity privileges. Has everybody had a chance to read them and review?
Yes, sir.
Is there any additions or comments we have on them?
What?
Where is it about the rules?
What?
Rules.
What did you?
So you're asking about the bylaws. So nothing has been changed since you asked me to change them before the last meeting. The last meeting, it was discussed that several of the property owners were concerned about us not using yes cards, and it was asked to be put back on old business. I think you were going to look and see what you could find from your previous research on the PDF or whatever those were, and then and the only thing additional that I brought today was some actual numbers from the date that the pool was open, which was the 24th of May, through yesterday's date, which was Father's Day. And we basically have kept a count, which we have to do anyway, of how many people come in and out, how many guests, how many property owners, how many swim passes were used. For those dates, almost 30 days, we had 740 property owners visit that each paid $2.50. That was $1,850 in admissions. Our guests, we had 558 guests at $5 an admission, which was $2,790. Our total admissions for those 3 weeks was $4,640. We also had 164 visits with people who had split passes. So our financial report will show you how much money we made in swim passes, which is right under $4,000. But that's how many swim passes were used on visits. So we just kind of kept up with the daily count of who came in and out and what they were. I thought that was a number that would be good information for people to kind of look at. On no given day did we ever get close to our 100 maximum occupancy. So no one's been turned away, no chairs. We had tables and chairs that were left available. I went yesterday for the first time. I was number 39. I got there at 2 in the afternoon. It was very nice. It wasn't overcrowded. It was a very nice experience. The pool was a really nice place. But I'll let you be able to give at least that much factual information when you make this decision.
Any further discussion on this? Ron? Tony? Joe? Okay, I need a motion to accept.
Still
Give me a second.
Just one question.
Sure.
We still have
Right.
Still don't have what?
Yes, passes.
I'm having a really hard time hearing all of that.
I make a motion to accept the bylaws.
I had a motion from Tony to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe seconds. All those in some of you might know, today you got a letter concerning irrigation from the lakes. It is against the rules to pull water out of the lakes for irrigation, flowers, and anything. And this has been ruled since 1982. So, the people living on the lakes today, there are a couple that are still grandfathered from the 2006 lawsuit. Those are only people that have lived in those houses. So anybody since then will be checking, we'll be checking to see if we're drawing water out of the lakes.
I gave everyone a copy of the letter so that you would have one, and all 589 have gone out. Every single person who lives only in 7 months should have received one.
Waste management plan purchase update.
I'm sorry that I don't believe there's anyone here from Waste Management, but I did receive a call, and I asked for a follow-up email, and I didn't get the email. And basically what he asked for, what he's going to be sending an email for, is to know if we would be interested in selling the 21 acres that are around the model airplane area and to the right of the existing driveway that is there now. I told them that, we put this on the agenda before and they didn't follow up, and we had several people in the audience who were not interested in having any part of that. And because of all of the traffic and all of that, he said this would be a barrier that would be around. It would not be anything that would be added to additional areas of waste, that it would also be employee parking, so that it would be more trying to have a buffer around what they already have, not adding additional area for waste. Again, I didn't get the email. I had it on the agenda. I looked for it again today before I left, and I don't have it. But, we voted not to sell lots. Our business would this be considered the same thing when we look at selling these acreage of land? And is that something you would be interested in? I would think that there will be several steps that we need to happen next before that can happen.
How many acres are we talking?
He said 21 acres around a model airplane space and to the right of the driveway that you're putting in now. The way he explained it was if you came straight out of Cherokee at 289, when you took the left, as soon as you pass the little plot of land that has all the broke down cars and stuff, he said there's a little vacant spot and then there's no city limit. And he liked that part and the part around the model airport.
Now, is this land we actually own as it, or are they lots?
No, they're not lots, it's acreage that Sid owns. It's just like what we had across the street at the animal shelter.
Right.
It's been preserved land. If we sell it, they would be responsible for, taxes and all that stuff moving forward.
Let's see another matter. I need a motion to move this on to old business so we can discuss
I make a
it.
motion to move this to all business.
For next month,
Next month.
is there anything you would like to do in the next 30 days of information to gather? Or tell me what steps you'd like me to do before we bring it back to the next meeting and have a second conversation.
We need to, I guess, figure out how we sell it, since we don't sell lots. I guess we-
Talk on that microphone.
Okay.
received from the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission or something of that nature. It covers, I mean, everything in this lake management. So he has surveyed the lakes, and I'm sure that he's out there spraying, he knows what's going on. Makes some great ideas for future fisheries management, and just altogether, it's really good ideas. A lot of this dealt with silt removal in the lakes, which I learned is a very possible thing with heavy equipment, and also with what they call hydro, where they suck that out with a big hydro deal. The only problem with any of that I see is I can't ever see that being financially feasible. You're talking probably $1 million a lake to go in there and suck all the silt out. I don't know exactly what that would cost, but I'm just telling you it'd be expensive. If it was cheap, I'd say go about it. But that's something we would have to look at. But a very comprehensive report. He is currently in the process of spraying and killing the weeds, and I actually was on Omaha this morning, and there's a lot of weed growth that's already dying on the edge of the lake, and scum that floats up due to heat, and the high levels of the sun being out for 14 hours a day causes that green moss to grow, and a lot of that has died and is sinking, and some of it is floating back up, and it's dead. So they're doing, I think they're doing a pretty doggone good job, considering. I mean, they're big bodies of water, some of them. So, but great report. I'm sure that Betsy could have that available for anybody who might want to read it. But I think he's doing a very good job. He is also going to come in and do a shock survey on the lakes and tell us what our populations are of fish and what we need to concentrate on. He also gave some ideas of what we needed to stop for food forage for the fish that are in the lakes, and he wants to give us a report of what he feels like that we need to stop to the lakes. So there would be some fish stocking involved. He talked about habitat being added to the lakes, some of it artificial, some of it tree limbs. Just a great report. Really is a whole lot of the information that about 2.5 years ago, me and some of the guys from the Lake Committee attended a survey or a seminar in Mountain Home by the Arkansas Game and Fish, and they recommended almost every single thing that he recommended. So I think we're on the right page. If we can get the structure stuff situated and how to put those habitat deals out, I think will be great, and look at the future of the lakes. But I think he's doing a pretty good job. I haven't seen anything that I would say that is out of line. I would love to see the silt removal happen, and he feels like that's very feasible and would work. But he did say the problem is with an aging water property that it will have to be done again, and it's not a one and done type of deal. It has to continually be done. So the citizens would have to decide how much money they want to sink into sucking silt out of the lake. I mean, it might remove a foot of silt, and it might remove 3 foot of silt. But you just have to kind of weigh that out and cost. And so we could get exact figures, I'm sure, per lake of what that would cost. And he would give us an idea of the lakes that are in worse shape, and we'll start with those and kind of work our way around to the others. But boy, what a comprehensive report. I would have hated to have typed all that up. But anyway, there it is. So, good report.
Betsy, can we see that this is put on our webpage?
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
property owners can read it?
We are definitely going to put it out there. And, he definitely makes some suggestions. And, one of the things is the drawdown. I think, that is a huge answer to the silt removal is doing those drawdowns. And, he's saying every 8 years, so that's 1 lake a year. That's the perfect opportunity to do lake maintenance, vegetation, all kinds of things couldn't put our hands on it for me. I haven't seen it since, but we know it's not being enforced because we can drive around our boats on the lakes and see the lots of good and the fabric's not going up. I think the water quality test is super important, that everybody know that we can literally take 2 samples of water and send them off and have them tested. So all of this rumor and conversation about the products being used in the lakes and harmful, I would have told you right there that that was not happening. We are using a licensed, certified company that is taught and trained on how to do the dispersing of our chemicals. And this is our 2nd year of working with them. So please, somebody could be doing something so awful as to use something like Roundup around the edges of the lake would not be doing reports like this to help us fix our lakes. So please keep that in mind as when you see and read things that maybe aren't true. I will have this posted on our webpage at the cpsid.org. So if anybody wants to go in and look at it, and just like shocking the lake, like Joe said, that's an option, that's another suggestion that's on here of things that we can do at an additional cost. But what we paid for this was less than $2,500, and what we got was thousands of dollars worth of information. So I look forward to all of y'all getting to look at it.
What was the website?
cbsid.org.
So Betsy, in this report, he brings up the carp situation. And I know if you've been around the lake or if you walk out or been in the pontoon, you notice these gigantic looking torpedoes in the neighborhood of 4 or 5 feet long. They probably weigh as much as I do, swimming around in the lakes. And they are in gigantic waters, like there'll be 30 or 40 of them in a cove. And then you move to another cove, there'll be another 30 or 40. And he mentions in this report, as well as I have been springing for a couple of years, is that's destroying our habitat and spawning grounds for fish that spawn up shallow, and the carp get up there and root all the eggs up, and so they can't reproduce in the way that they need to because we're overloaded with carp. So he mentioned in this report that he is all for a bow fishing tournament, or not really a tournament, or open this up for like a season of a couple of weeks, or let's say 30 days, where we'll allow these guys that bow fish to come in and shoot carp. They would have to take them with them. They can't leave them there. They can't throw them on the bank, let them smell. They would be responsible for taking them with them. That comes with some side effects, okay? And I'll just tell you, as property owners, if you don't like people on the lake after dark, and you don't like bright lights, then you need to take a vacation when we do the carp tour, because they are going to be having bright lights, generators running, they're going to be hooping and hollering, and they're shooting carp, and we're going to say, do it from say dark until 10:30, cut it off, you got to be off the lake at 10:30, and do that for a while until we get that population down, and then this man can go back and restock again with carp that will actually eat the moss and the grass and all that, because they're much smaller. Once they reach 24 inches, they don't eat anything. They're just root up stuff. So I think it's a great idea. We would need to work with the lake committee about how to have that happen, and the board would have to decide if you want to allow that to happen. But if you would, I would suggest sometime in late August, when it's the hottest that it could possibly be. That's when these bow fishermen like to get out and shoot carp. And I think it would be very effective for our lakes. And we might open that for every single lake. And I don't know what we do for it. Cook them on a fish fry or something.
What's the noise coming from?
And I think that we would almost have to open that up where they would have to go to the sit office to register, because I doubt very seriously we would have more than 10 people in the whole town of Cherokee Village that bow fish. So you would probably just have to open that up in the surrounding areas. If you're a bow fisherman, like the urban deer hunt, you can come in there and meet at the office, and let's have a meeting and make sure they know what they're doing so they're not shooting arrows through somebody's house. And let's get it lined out and let them come in there and shoot these stupid carp and get them out of the lake. So that's just my opinion. But great report, great ideas. That's just something we gotta work on. But we need to be moving on the park things. Our time will expire in about August or the first of September to have that done.
I will share all of this with the Lake Committee, at our next meeting, and, you know, he made suggestions on picking a couple of days of the week that it is acceptable for people to be out there after 10 o'clock and not be disturbing, you know, the people that live on the lake. He also suggested that they register and pay some kind of fee to do it, so that we know who's out there, and that it's not just anybody showing up and, you know, tearing things up. Working with Lake Safety, whatever days those were, that Lake Safety would stay on the lake until they came off to make sure that that was being followed. So he had great suggestions, and I'm all for it. I think it would be something that would be beneficial.
So can we need a motion to make that happen for the third or fourth week in August, Betsy? Is that too little time or too much time?
Well,
I think we need a motion to carry it into next month's business, so that way we can rules and everything.
July 10th will be the next Lake Safety meeting, and then July 15th is the city meeting. So by that Lake Safety meeting, we'll send this back. We'll make sure we've got some ideas for rules and regulations put together to present at the next meeting.
Okay.
I need a motion.
I make that motion.
Susan makes a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Just over to the next. Yeah.
Bow fishing carp.
Okay, Susan made the motion, I can go ahead and second.
Second.
Joe seconds, all those in favor? Motion carries. New business, the firehouse futures. We have discussed this a little bit. The city leases our firehouses for practically nothing. So we are going to make a proposal to either raise the price on the lease or sell the firehouses to the city. That way we are not responsible for the maintenance and stuff on them anymore. So that's what we want.
It's on new business, David, so it's open for discussion, and it goes to old business next month.
Right.
And again, we need to discuss what do you want me to do in the next 30 days to prepare for old business next month?
But I think some of those things include doing appraisals of those areas.
Right.
How big is each one of those fire stations?
The land
The
around it.
land around them, and how we can sell them.
How we approach the city on it.
You're talking about 3 fire stations, not the 4.
No,
The
the
4 of these maintenance.
They start
Okay.
and,
Onaga,
South Golf
was
Course.
it
and
Wakita?
Wakita,
Onaga?
One by Navajo.
I think that's Wakita.
Correct.
Onaga and Bayside,
Right.
the 3 fire stations.
What are we doing present? What are we doing present?
what?
What is our present situation?
He wants to know the present, what's our current lease on?
There's been a lifelong lease, as far as I know, that's been in effect, and there's no, we don't foresee anything.
But we still have to get into negotiations with the Briggs
I'm
Police.
I'm having the hardest time hearing you, I'm sorry.
We still have to go into negotiations with them on the lease, don't we?
We have, since I have been here, there's been no negotiation or change in any lease that has been in effect since 2000, when all that separated and went to the city and stood as separate. That's, to my knowledge, there's never been any change to that original lease.
So right now, we're leasing to them.
For
at
$0.
no cost. Okay. Who's responsible for the insurance?
We are. We pay the insurance on
besides them just sitting there and being in Sid's hands, because I don't feel like we have any business with them. I don't know what kind of deal we can work out or what we can do, but I think that we really need to diligently work in presenting something to the city about them purchasing the firehouses and figuring out how we can do that. What would that look like?
Any other comments? Ron?
No, sir.
Tony? Susan? No. So basically, we're going to have to approach the city.
So I would suggest that we get our attorneys to draw up a letter that addresses the lease and what our future intent would be, to kind of start that conversation rolling.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do I need a motion for this?
No, just-
Motion to put it on old business.
This is okay, this is on that.
That's in, so we move to old business. Okay, GM update.
Got a vote to move to old business.
Oh, motion to move this to old business.
I'll make that motion.
Firehouse Future is new business.
Yeah, so I'll make those all this.
If y'all wanted to go to old business, I think you have to.
Yeah, Susan made a motion. Who's second?
I'll say, move it a little bit.
Yes. So, Susan made the motion, Joe seconds, all those in favor? Motion carries. Okay. GM update.
We have our property owner golf tournament on the 18th of May. We had 21 teams. We really had a nice turnout. The weather was great. I think that everyone who participated really had a nice time, and we grew about 5 more teams than what we had last year, and we hope that each year we continue to see more participation as more people are starting to play ball. The second thing on the agenda for the update is the cafe. On the financials that I provided tonight, you may notice that on the very last page, it's going to show basically what the income and expenses were for the month of May. It was really our first full month. We had our grand opening on April 25th. So all in all, we covered our expenses for food and a lot of the things that we're having to purchase, to-go boxes and papers and wrappers and things like that to kind of get ourselves set up. We're averaging about $2,000 a week in our net sales, and in the month of May, we were able to cater through the cafe. One of the golf tournaments that was here, they had a Calcutta on a Saturday night, so we were able to cater their dinner for that golf tournament. And then last 2 weekends ago, the Ozark Tourism used us to cater their tournament. So I really think having a couple of catering gigs on top of our regular net sales at the restaurant is going to keep things rolling, and we just encourage everyone to please come and eat with us if you haven't already. Some good fresh food, breakfast and lunch only, and Thursday through Saturday.
Have we hired a cook yet?
We have a couple of cooks. And we're looking for another cook.
We haven't hired a full-time cook yet.
We have not hired a full-time cook yet. Susan has been gracious enough to step up and bring her service certificate to the restaurant for us and help us in a lot of ways. She has tons of experience, and I've been jumping in and helping. We have 2 permanent employees who have been great, and so they're kind of the front and the back of the house to help with the cook. But we're looking for someone who loves to cook. And it's not that much. We've got 2 little burgers, so I think that's part of the problem. We want to hire a cook, and then they come in and look at our little kitchen like, y'all are doing what they do at something. So we're trying to find the right person for them. Financials I left on the table over there again.
property residents need.
Larry Gorski, 218 East Lakeshore Drive. You gave the number on the pool. You got numbers on the beach?
I do not have numbers on the beach, Larry. You called me that.
I can tell you, it looks like Chicago and North Avenue Beach. The word is out that they're not checking taxes.
Okay.
People were coming, see that speaker over there?
Yeah.
That was a little one compared to what people brought. That was a speaker like Sadie was over that time, and it's turn it down.
Okay.
And that's all it happened, turn it down.
I know it doesn't. This is the point.
I don't think the mic's on.
Tony, can we borrow yours for a minute?
Sure.
Let's try it.
Yeah, the word is out that they're not checking passes at the beach. And it was jammed, packed. It was like Chicago, North Avenue Beach. No, really, it was. The parking lot was full. Someone even came with a speaker bigger than this one with the music blaring. And
Just on the weekend,
that's
weekdays.
it. When we get nice weather, I mean, the weekend was really, really packed. And even during the week,
Okay.
it's, as I said, the word is out that you're not checking passes, so
All right.
everybody's from far and wide.
Thank you. We'll stick it up there. Anybody else?
Oh, Betsy, you're not gonna like me. Sorry. So, my name is Cynthia Lee.
Cynthia Lee.
Lee. Yeah. 47 West Lakeshore Drive. I live on Cherokee Lake, and I've called a couple times. Last year I was told that they're spraying the lakes with organic stuff, and I happened to be out there with my dogs when they were spraying this week, and I asked them specifically, what are you spraying with? They said Roundup and Rainbow, which is Agent Blue. People keep saying it's safe, but I mean, I'm not a biologist or whatever you need to study that. I'm just going by the National Institute of Health, Oklahoma State University. They're saying do not use herbicides which are not labeled for aquatic sites, which include Carmex and Roundup. And they're saying if you do, treat only on the quarter and do not treat during the warmest months. National Health Institute says that in general, the half-life of glyphosate in water varies from a few days to 91 days, all the way to 315 days. And they're saying it poses great risk to animals and human health. And my neighbors were out there the next day. Their 3 kids were in the water right there at their shoreline. I want to know why I was told it was organic when it's not. It's poison, and we know it's poison, and I'm not a politician, so I'm not important for Monsanto to pay me to shut up. I will never shut up. I've had my family die from Roundup. I've had animals die from Roundup. So I'd like to know why it's not organic when everyone's telling me it was organic.
So I spoke to the gentleman who owns the company that we use. He has assured us that he is not using Roundup, that every chemical that he has used is EPA certified, it is safe, it is aquatic. Aquatic is what I believe is the word that aquatic is what the word is that we have quoted or told is the type of chemical that's being used, so it is safe to be used in the water. The only thing that I can say, Ms. Lee, is that I don't know who you spoke to. I don't know who the gentleman was in the boat, or the gentleman that I spoke to says that himself or no one that worked for him would have ever said to anyone that they were using Roundup. what he's purchased. He is a licensed and certified to disperse the chemicals. Until the summer of 2023, we were purchasing chemicals and driving around with lake safety and dumping them in the water. It wasn't working. So we hired somebody to go in and do what we couldn't do in-house, but we weren't licensed, trained, or certified to do. So we have hired a company to do that. I saw the Facebook post. It was sent to me. I shared it with him. He assured me that no one that would work for him or himself had that conversation with anyone that they would use Roundup. So I'm not sure.
So
I'm not sure who you spoke to. I don't know who you spoke to.
I spoke to a man in the boat who was spraying.
Well, again, I don't know who that was. I can only repeat to you what he said to me. They are not using Roundup. Aquatic chemicals is
So
what
can
are
we see
used.
the list of what they're using then? That they put
I will ask him to provide us with a list. And I can share that. But
You're not calling me a liar.
this is not, no one's calling you a liar.
He's calling me a liar. You're not calling me a liar. He's calling me a liar.
Thank you.
Now, please, she will get you a list of what they are using. She's not calling you a liar.
I didn't say she was. I said
This
he's
isn't a
calling me a
problem.
liar.
Okay, we will get you a list.
Spraying stuff.
Anybody else would like to address it?
Yeah, I'm Kathy Ingles, and I live at 19 Ontario Lane, Cherokee Village, on Lake Omaha. I'm going to just kind of back this down just a little bit here because I did find out that 3 days after they...
Speaking to the microphone.
You're not getting it? Is that better? Okay. 3 days after they did spray our lake, I took my granddaughter to the doctors for some routine testing, and they called her back in. She had elevated inflammation. Mine started right after that, and it's affected both of us. And so they've done a long panel of blood work on myself and my granddaughter. Don't know where to go after this point. I'm hoping it just goes away for both of us, but we don't know what all of a sudden caused it, except that seems to be the only common denominator. I'm not calling anyone a liar. It's very possible that someone who works where you hired said, oh, this is expensive, I'm going to take this back, get this other stuff because it works. I don't know, nobody has tried to find that information out, but I think it'd be a real good idea if you did. That's all I've got to say about that, and I just wanted to back her up on that because I think that a thing like an excited utterance, she just walked up and asked that guy and he just told her, is probably credible. So that being said, the reason I actually came today was because of the landfill, that I know you guys are going to talk about that. And so I've done a little bit of research on that, and Tommytown was another town that had to have a landfill expansion, and the mayor was really against it. The reason was they did some studies, they found out that there was excess sulfur dioxide and acrolein and benzene, and I'm probably spelling the other word or pronouncing it wrong. But in any event, Little Rock also wanted to expand, and then when they did, the company, which, let me think here if I can see which one it was. Well, in any event, they had offered to build a big sports complex for Little Rock if they would allow them to expand. And just where I'm going with this is that these waste management type companies, and the one here is let me see what my notes say. Well, even smell it in the parking lot at Walmart at night. What they did after the hailstorms is they took in shingles. They charged, I don't know what they charged, but in any event, they burnt it. And it was highly illegal. It was turned into the state. And I drove through that plume. So I know what they burnt. And that plume was a half a mile wide. So we've got actually a history with them doing something wrong. You can check with the state because I turned them in. And they would have had to have found that the next day when they went there. Because I know what I drove through. And it came from Waste Management that live out that way. So according to the EPA, you've got a 1.8 mile area where, as far as the crows fly, you shouldn't have any organic smell.
Kathy, your 3 minutes is up. And
Okay, and just let me tell you one other thing here. The manager of our waste place out here makes $5.7 million salary per year. You can look it up on the internet. And so I think if you are going to do this and expand, please negotiate with them and see if you can get something further out of it, and consider the land that you won't be able to sell if you do. Okay?
Kathy, the city is the one that is responsible for the dump, what you want to call it, not us.
I understand that, but you know, you guys are, if you sell the land, you have some negotiating power. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I have one last thing that I would like to discuss that I could take to executive session, but I really don't think it needs to be taken to executive session. In my budget, I have the space to be able to hire a golf marshal. This person would work 3 days a week, 6 hours a day, intermediate hours between both golf courses. What I need from my commissioners is their support, that if we hire a person and we put them out there to enforce the golf rules, that when our regulars come and complain to you, that you will support my golf marshal.
Yes, ma'am, I'd be happy to support you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That the majority of our violators are our property owners.
Yes.
And when a marshal is going to approach a property owner about the violation of a written policy that this group voted in, and they cannot come back to y'all afterwards and complain about it, and then our marshal doesn't get that support anymore. That will end that relationship if he does not feel that when he tells them that you can't do this, that the commissioners will back him up. So, do y'all agree that this is a position that's needed? You made these rules and regulations, and we've got nobody enforcing them.
Ron?
Well, I played Marshall Dillon for quite a few months.
Is that yes?
And I'm going to tell you, there were a lot of violations, and gently handling them seemed to resolve the issue. And I would say that the answer of having a marshal approach a property owner would be most beneficial for the golf courses. So if that doesn't make it useful, and yes to you, Ms. Kent, then yes.
Tommy? Tommy says yes. I say
I'm good with that.
Joe? You have any conditions?
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So, are we in need of executive session? Nope. I need a motion to adjourn.
I want to bring up,
Oh, yeah.
would it be possible if we talked to Jeff Klein and had him cease spraying all the lakes immediately? Don't spray anything else. Have the water tested, I don't know who we get to come in, test his chemicals, test the water to make sure that there is no Roundup residuals, maybe even test the air that's within the area and move forward with that. But from this point forward, could we move forward with ceasing all spraying?
So what I can tell you is that every lake has already been sprayed, and the only spraying that's going on now is from property owners who are calling and saying that vegetation is popping back up, or it killed some of it to Jeff to say this address is complaint, or this address has still got vegetation, or here's what the complaint is, and he's gone back to some areas like Dogwood Park. You know, that was a perfect example. It did some of it, but didn't do enough. We had a complaint, so at this point, he is only spraying where people have called and requested him to come back.
Okay.
Which Lake Cherokee has been a huge complaint, which is why he would have gone back over there.
Can we have him test the waters in the area he sprayed?
I think that's a great idea. Now that we know that he sprayed, he could do the same thing as he did in this waste management report. Would be to take that water test and send it off to them and let them do the testing. I don't know what the cost would be. I can't imagine it would be anything outrageous, but I will ask him about it. I'm sure he would feel comfortable to be able to do that to stop all the gossip and rumors. If that's possible.
Any other comments?
No, I think we got ourselves, we're in this because the weed problem in the malls was such a big ordeal. We couldn't swim it. So now we're spraying it, got it under control, and now we're poisoning people. So we need to make sure that we in fact are poisoning people, and if we are, deal with it. And if we're not, then we need to move forward.
I think that would be a great idea. I think that's a great idea. I'm trying to look back and see if there's a date on that.
So we will move forward with testing the water. Make sure we're good to go. Okay. Any other discussion?
Arkansas Water Resource Center is who did these last tests. I was trying to see if there was a date on it. 4/24, so April 24 was the date that he sent these last samples in.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
A motion by Susan, second by Joe. Those in favor? We are adjourned.